Welcome to NEXTGames Omen series, this video covering the Glassy Gorger solo. In this video, I'll go over the battle strategy for taking on the Glassy Gorger, and then show you an example of the fight against the Glassy Gorger. We'll do all of this on the ninja job with the warrior subjob. Now the Glassy Gorger is one of the random mid-bosses in Omen. If you are tanking, the Malignant set is recommended to make your life easier. Also note that the Glassy Craver has a decent amount of evasion, so don't neglect your accuracy. Now, as with all mid-bosses, the frequency of TP moves that will be used will increase as the hit points decreases. Under 25%, he will use them every 3 seconds or so. Now thankfully, the Gorger's TP abilities aren't as bad as the other two mid-bosses, but you definitely still want to use caution for one in particular. Now, let's go ahead and talk about those abilities now. Blessing Sync will copy everyone's buffs within 10 feet, and he will gain a damage taken reduction based on how many buffs and enfeebles he has upon him. So make sure you don't enfeeble him, and use Trust, who will dispel all of these absorbed buffs. The next ability we'll talk about is Vanity Dive, which will deal a low amount of conal physical damage. The next ability is Spirit Absorption, which is a single target buff, drain, and low damage ability. Stygian Flatus, which is an AoE paralyze ability. Quadratic Continuum is the last ability we'll talk about, and the one that you want to watch out for. It is a 4-hit ability that can do a large amount of damage if these hits are not blocked by shadows. It actually can one-shot you, and this damage is not blocked by Megawari, as this is considered 4 separate hits. So you definitely always want to make sure that you have at least 2 shadows up to avoid this ability. Now in regards to your Trust selection on this one, I recommend that you use a Trust tank to make sure that you can get in as much damage as possible. Then I also want you to select a Trust that will allow you to dispel some of the buffs that are absorbed. Arcelia and Koromoru are good for this. You also won't be taking as much damage as you do on some of the other mid-bosses, so any of the White Mage Trust should work just fine. Make sure you have Urine up for the entire fight, and lower your enmity as much as you can so that your tank can take as much as he can. Now I find that weapon skills do the best damage in the Gorger, with skill change doing decent damage, and magic burst doing the poorest. Therefore, your best damage output can usually be achieved by just scamming weapon skills and adding in additional damage through the skill change that those create. Now for Trust in my battle example, I'm going to be using Arki-V for tanking. I'm using Joachim for marches, but Olmia will also work. I'm using Arcelia for haste and dispel, but Koromoru will also work in this capacity. And I'm using Monboro and Yoran for cures, but really any curing mages will work on this mid-boss since he doesn't do much AoE damage. Now this fight is normally going to take you about 8 to 10 minutes, so make sure you use your time wisely. Now that's going to be all the info for how to take on the Glassy Gorger. Let's go ahead and see what a battle example looks like. Enjoy the run, everyone. That will be it for the Glassy Gorger solo video. I hope you found that helpful. At this point in the Omen series, we have covered all of the mid-bosses and all of the final bosses with the exception of Key and Oo. I'm still working on both party and solo strategy videos for those, and when they are ready, I will be releasing them. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy.